In this video, I want to take a look at how do we have an enemy object get attacked from our attack object? That is, how is it going to take damage? How are we going to destroy our enemy? So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. There's a couple things that we want to do. And so I'm going to come in to my object enemy parent code. This is a code that's good for all of our bad guys. And so that's why I'm doing the parent. And I'm going to create a couple of variables that we're going to use because when they get hit with that slashing object, I want them to get knocked back. So I'm going to create some knockback variables. So I'm going to define these with a comment because it's going to do KB for knockback X. And I'm going to start with 0 and KB underscore Y also going to be equal to 0. Because these are KB, X, and Y, I wanted to give myself a comment so I knew that it was knockback. I didn't have to kind of figure out what it is. If I come back to this project or someone else comes back to this project and goes, what is this about? What is KB about? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up an alarm. This is going to be something we're going to use later on. So I'm just establishing it just like I established my knockback variables. I'm not using them right now, but I'm establishing them. So I'm going to come here and say create alarm. And I want to choose alarm 1. Now you might say, well, why did I choose alarm 1? Well, alarm 0, you'll notice already has something it's doing. Therefore, I need to make sure I'm not reusing that alarm. Luckily, each object has up to 10 alarms I can use. So I'm using alarm 1. Inside my alarm 1, I'm going to do actually 2 things. The first is I'm going to set image blend. This is going to give a color that's going to blend into the image of my sprite, whatever that is. It's going to be equal to C underscore white. That is a white, which basically is remove any color blend. I'm going to give a different color when they get attacked, so I'm just resetting that. The other thing I want to do is I want to check to see have their hit points gone to 0. If you remember correctly, in a previous video, we defined our hit points as a instance variable or variable definition. So I'm going to use that information and I'm going to check to see if it's been deducted to 0 or less than 0. If so, that means my enemy is dead. So I'm just going to say if HP is less than or equal to 0, I'm going to do instance destroy. So this is going to get rid of my instance while I'm playing this game. Okay. So just real simple what my alarm 1's doing. I'm just basically setting it up so I can use it later. We're going to see how we define that alarm later on. I don't need to reset it like I did with alarm 0, where I say alarm 0 equals 60. I'm not doing that because it's not necessary. You'll see why in a minute. The next thing we want to do is check for a collision with our attack sprite. That is that slash. So if we're hit by that sword, we need to feel it. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to come up here to my little plus to create a new event, and I'm going to check for collision. Well, what am I checking for my collision with? I select my objects, and now you can see I have all my objects in here. So anytime I see object attack, this is saying, hey, I'm going to get a collision with the object attack, and it's happening against me. So what's going to happen? Well, the first thing I want to check is I'm going to check and see if alarm 1 is less than 0. What that means is my alarm has not been set. So I don't want to have like multiple frames happening and it's just really one attack. Okay. So I'm checking, have I not actually been in the middle of an attack? Is this the first time we've made connection? If so, then I'm going to do something. If this is just another part of that same attack, it's going to be ignored. So that's why I'm doing that alarm 1 less than 0. I'm only doing it if that's set up. Now I'm going to do HP, my hit points, minus equal other. This is the other thing that I've just touched. That is my attack object. Remember, this is something that would essentially be passed into a function event handler. We don't see that function header, so we have to know what GameMaker Studio is giving us as those parameters. In this case, it's other dot damage. So you're going to take my hit points, subtract the damage from it. So minus equals just an easy way to do that. Remember up on my alarm 1, I set my image blend to white. Well, I'm going to say image blend equals C red. So I'm going to make it look like I got hit, I'm getting damage. Next, I'm going to work on that knockback effect. So where we get bumped. So I'm going to do KBX equals sine. Now this is not like sine, S-I-N, which is a measurement of an angle, okay? This is a different sign. So this sign is going to return only 1, -1, or 0, depending upon what value it is. So we're not going to get this crazy value. We're just looking to only move by essentially 1 pixel, just a little knockback, not a huge one. So I'm going to say x minus other dot x. And therefore, I'm going to do knockback y is going to equal sine y minus other dot y. Now you notice here that I have spaces in one and not the other. Unlike some integrated development environments, which automatically put spacings, we're responsible for it. I'm letting you see that, hey, you can do differently. Personally, I like to have a little bit of space, makes it easier to read. So I'm going to go back and add that real quick. And now I'm going to set an alarm. Which one? Well, the one we previously defined, equals 20. So now I'm setting an alarm so that I have that alarm event handler to handle it, reset my color to white, determine if I need to be destroyed, etc. I'm going to press F5 to test. You can see I hit it 3 times. This has got 3 hit points. When I hit it 3 times, it gets destroyed. This is what we're expecting. If I keep moving on, you see I have other objects. But while they can touch me, they're not damaging me. This, of course, is a problem. You would expect that any object that I can attack can also attack me. Therefore, we need to set up how does the enemy objects attack us and can we die? So stay tuned for our next video where I'm going to show you that process.